distraction, then only this will work. Otherwise, it will not work. Sahana vavatu, sahana vavatu. I should remember, protect me, and also the teacher, and also the knowledge in me. Sahana bhunaktu. Nourish my mind and intellect. We are already nourishing ourselves as far as the physical body is concerned. Sahaviryam karvavahe. I should be alert and attentive. Means I should have tremendous energy to participate, to learn and listen. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. My intellect should shine like the sun. I should pay, huh? I should be attentive. You see, it is the intellect that recognizes gold is a precious metal, isn't it? Does the ass also recognize the gold? Does your pet also recognize the gold? Huh? Put a pound of the gold before your pet and see what happens. So my intellect attached with the gold gives importance to it, and that is why it is important. Tejasvina vadhitamastu ma vidvisha vahe. So we have to listen as a seeker, and the teacher also has to be aware and alert what it is offering based on the teachings of the Eastern wisdom. I give importance. My intellect gives importance. I just gave an example of the gold. You put $100 notes before your pet and see what happens. No importance. Perhaps they will eat it. So my intellect gives importance. How much importance you give to this journey of the Eastern wisdom, that is the thing we have to understand. That is why we have done the Mangala Charan. Don't forget, if you are attending regularly and contemplating what 360-degree understanding, you have to keep in your intellect. Huh? Keep in your intellect. 360-degree understanding will help me to realize the real self. And remember all those small points: desire fulfillment versus self fulfillment. Four desires, three are outside, one is the goal of life, huh? Self discovery. Can awakening take place? Can awakening take place without striking a harmony? Answer is yes, and answer is no. So, if your answer is yes, in living a personal, professional, and social life, don't don't forget to strike the harmony in your life. Oh no, let me. I have lot of stress and awaken myself. Not possible. You're not relaxed and calm. How it is possible to reach to that state of awakening, permanent? You are not calm and peace. Oh, let me awaken and then everything will be solved. Nothing will be solved. So we have not one but millions of wrong notions. And that is why I just prepared a foundation. And the second foundation, what is the second foundation? I gave you a systematic approach. Mangala Charan. You have to give importance to it. Whether you are attending the session or not, Have you heard it? Have you understood it? Every day in the morning when you wake up, first thing, let me invoke, let me invoke the existence which is of the nature of peace and happiness. Let my intellect receive it. Mind should follow it. Body should body should put into action. The whole day passes peacefully. Importance of the Mangalacharana. But how it is related to four connections, do you remember? Fourfold practices. Then we will understand Karma Yoga in Mondays and Thursdays session and Upasana, and then ultimately listening and learning, contemplating. But why we are doing it? Four reasons. Doubt about the validity of the teaching. Where is your house? What is your address? You are 100% clear. So I'll come to your house. So I've taken an address, I put it into the Google map, and I reach you. We have been talking about here is the real self. Did you reach there? It is because of the doubt regarding the validity of the knowledge. The intellect is still. Huh? You can complete the sentence. Mind is still in ignorance. And the doubt regarding the object of the knowledge, the goal of life. What is the goal of life to real self? That is the object of knowledge. Am I the real self? 24/7. So there is a doubt. And because when the mind starts discovering, you have a lot of distractions, very subtler layers of the distractions. And the fourth is what we say, the ignorance. So I have summarized this, not I have summarized, my one teacher beautifully summarized into 5 steps. So whether you remember 5 steps and you go back, the qualified seeker, approaching the teacher and the knowledge, approaching the teacher and the knowledge. You have to be very clear. Your intellect based on the teaching, and then you are listening and learning. If you are listening and learning, if you have first 2 steps are clear, qualified seeker, approaching the teacher and the knowledge with the humility, sincerity, means that you keep aside your ego. And now you are listening to the teacher, you will attend the realization in the very session. This is what our masters are saying. We'll understand why, how it happens. And followed by, because it is challenging, hence we will contemplate and reflect. That is the 4th step, and practice. And 5th is that we keep our eyes on our goal. That is the real self. How I am the real self. So we have already given an answer, like geometry, prove that this is true. The problem is there, I have to know the process. I already know the answer. Do you see that? So we know the answer. What is that? Real self is absolute existence, consciousness, bliss, which I translate that it is of the nature of permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. When? All the time. What location? All the location. In which relationship? In all the relationship. So by the process, I have to realize, oh, this is what you are talking about. No, like geometrical. We all have studied geometry in our school. I have to work. So what is the process? Geometrical solution. We have to work through the mind and intellect. The same thing applies. So today, we are going to work on that. What exactly is the verse? How these verses are created, couplets are created in Sanskrit, and why, how to open it up, how to understand, how to assimilate that knowledge. I don't know anything, and I just take those verses from the great teachers who have passed on the wisdom to all of us, and I'm just explaining it. So every verse is basically it is a unit of poetry or a stanza, typically found in almost all the literatures of yoga, tantra, meditation, dhyanam nirvishayam manah. Now you see that. You can open this, you can write at least 500 pages on the single phrase. Dhyanam nirvishayam manah, the simply meaning from the Sankhya Yoga. That means the meditation or the state of meditation is absent of all the contents in the mind. Oh, yes, I have understood. All the contents? Are you sure? Yes, all the contents, including the peace and happiness. Yes. You are finished. So that is why each and every verse has to be explained. Not all the contents, except peace and happiness. It cannot be empty. I'm just giving you have to raise the doubt through your intellect. You might have never thought of it. Oh, empty the mind, control the mind, control the mind. It will not work that way. So verse. So typically a couplet or a verse consists of two lines, typically, sometimes four lines. And every line, each contains 16 syllables. Think 10,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, these couplets, how they have framed and created these. Each line is further divided into two parts. Each part contains 8 syllables. So it means the one verse contains the 4 messages, 4 parts. Most common, and then the meter is used. A specific meter is used in the poetry, you might be aware. And what is the purpose? What is the why? Why? Why don't you say directly? I gave an example. Absent of all the contents of the mind is meditation. But it is only the one of the 4 lines of one verse. So it clarifies in the second principle. So why? To preserve this knowledge, easier to recite, more memorable, to preserve the teachings for the future generations. And that is why we have been repeating the same verses for the last 10,000 years. It is not like a science that 80 years ago or 100 years ago, or maybe, little more than that, science understood matter consists of small particles known as atoms. 80 years ago, atom consists of electron, proton, and neutron. You see, now there is a progress in the knowledge. So you have to change the principle. In Eastern wisdom, you need not to change the principle. You have to be very clear. It is subjective knowledge. It is not objective. You have to be very clear. So that is why it is easier to recite, more memorable, preserve the teaching for a future generation. And you can preserve means knowledge as it is preserved. As it is. Beauty is this. 5,000 years ago, what Buddha taught, the same thing we are learning. That is the beauty. The rhythmic nature. And then these masters have created rhythmic nature in order to remember, remind, and in the intellect it acts as a reminder. In science, there is always updates, upgrades, disruption. In technology, we already heard about it. In Eastern wisdom, there is no disruption. There is no update. There is no upgrade. Why? Because it is absolute. We say peace is your essential nature. Finished. So I have to retrain my mind and intellect to see how to achieve that state of consciousness which cannot be updated. Upgrade, not possible. Disruption, not possible. If disruption is possible, it means the real self is changing. Upgrade, updates. Do you remember? Do you understand that? Those who study science, they can easily understand. Oh, their means change. So we are discovering what is unchanging, permanent identity, and what is our goal, end of suffering and awakening. From today, we have to pay a little more attention. We have not to miss, and we have to contemplate. Contemplate. So, how any teacher belonging to the traditional wisdom passes on this knowledge. Then Sam one becomes the coach and the mentor. You thought it just let me complete in 200 hours and then I will become. You are searching timelessness in time. And you thought, no. So what normally does, pay attention that every time I will, now you can analyze and observe the teaching of this beer guy. I will give you the literal meaning. I will give you the context. I will give you the philosophical significance. I will give the commentary on it. I will help you how to reflect and contemplate on each verse. And then we will discussion, and ultimately we enter into that state of realization. That is what happens when we are solving any problem in our daily life. But we have to follow that systematic approach that I have just discussed. To remember five steps. Qualified seeker, that includes 360-degree understanding. That includes Mangalacharan. That includes 4 connections. That includes 4 practices. That includes the power of discernment and dispassion. And now I'm ready. So I approach the teacher in the knowledge with the humility. I keep aside my ego. I have a lot of stress. That is also a part of ego. Keep it aside. Now I cannot attend the session. Why? Challenge your intellect, your ego. Now I don't have time to contemplate. I'm fully busy. That is why you are not a qualified seeker. Simple answers. We have a very simple answer. Now, how dare you say that I'm not a qualified seeker. I paid you a lot of money. Now you see the problem. See the problem. So no. Satasangatve nisasangatvam nisasangatve nirmohatvam. You see, eight syllables. Satasangatve nisasangatvam, 8 syllables. Nisasangatve nirmohatvam. First line is complete. Nirmohatve nischaltatvam. Second line, first part. Third part. Nirmoh nischaltatve jivanamukti. You embrace, you digest, you assimilate this verse, and you are done. You become a highest seeker. Literal meaning, satasangatve nisasangatvam by listening and learning, satsang, company of the teacher, and the knowledge. You study, contemplate, listen to the teacher, and if it results into detachment, you have attended the session. Then only you have attended the session. Do you see that? No, no, I have been attending your session for. No, it will not work that way. You see the masses, and then we have to open it up. We have to understand that why the master is saying this. So that sort of understanding is required. Satsang provides a positive influence and inspiration. But if I am I ready to receive that positive influence and inspiration? I look at the watch 10 times during the session. I have my agenda after an hour. Thank you very much. Regularly associate with the knowledge in the teacher. Listen to their teaching and observe and find out how can I apply this teaching and what happens. Does my behavior and attitude changes? We are talking about Saturday's session is not doing any practice, simply by understanding. And we think, okay, yes, I have attended you. I have understood you. You seem to be a crazy guy. Yes, I'm really crazy. So, second line, you see, second part of the first line, Nesasangatve nirmohatvam. Nesasangatve. So, when first result, detachment, change in my behavior and attitude. If it is coming, I am attending the session. So I have no responsibility, sir and ma'am. You have more responsibility. But yes, I'm also responsible to convey the message. See the second line. Nesasangatve nirmohatvam. I have yet to start the verses from this text, but I'm just giving an example. Nesasangatve nirmohatvam. So I start dropping delusion from my life. From the detachment, I result into freedom from the delusion, developing non-attachment, and then freedom from a delusion. So what happens? So first I have to list my delusion in my life. How many times I was into anxiety, depression, anxiety, I fully busy, reacted. Oh, these 5 times. Oh, these are the modes of delusion. Oh, it means I have not done the first part, the detachment. So let me go back. Oh, so how to detach myself? Let me listen to it and contemplate. So, nirmo hatve nischal tattvam. So now you see the series, how it is progressing. So now you have a freedom from the delusion. And when you have a freedom from the delusion, your mind is naturally steady and calm and relaxed. Are you relaxed? No, just for an hour. And after that, I have a lot of things to do. Huh? Lot of things to do. I'm in stress. I have a lot of stress. You have not attended any session. Power of knowledge. Nirmohatve nischal tattvam. So you see the satsang, detachment, delusion part we have covered, and from all the three you have attended, you have understood, you have clearly understood. Question is your mind is steady. Mind is naturally steady. You are focused. Second step, how to approach the teacher. See, the beauty of these, that is how we have to learn traditional wisdom. Uh, I have not initiated any of you, so there is no initiation required. Initiation means my intellect should be ready, receptive. Huh? I did not ask you to wear the loin cloth, put long stuff, no. It is possible. So I gave a different translation, and that is also correct that if your mind and intellect is sharp enough, you are committed, you are sincere, that itself is an initiation. Nishchal tattve jivan mukti. Now your mind is steady. So this steady mind is not the focused mind, excluding all the crazy stuff you are trying to remove those crazy stuff. It is already removed. That is what the steadiness of the mind is. Focus on your study. Don't watch TV. But my mind has an image of those soap opera I'm watching. No, don't. The father says to the son, don't spend time on phone. No touching. First do, but my mind is already there. So that is not the steadiness of the mind. So in modern psychology, we say oscillation of attention and attention, focus, concentration. That is not concentration. So I'm using the word steadiness. How the steadiness has come? From the previous steps. Detachment, freedom from the delusion, and freedom from the delusion. And yes, from freedom from the delusion resulted into the steadiness. And that natural steadiness has resulted into the inner calmness, receptivity, commitment to find the real self. Then what happens? The fourth line, Nishchal Tattve Jivana Mukti. You awaken to your real self, you realize your real self. Huh? By, this is just by understanding. Now you see, if the context, I told you that literal meaning, translation. So you see, satsang, I have explained you. Nisangatve, non-attachment, freedom from the delusion, steadiness of the mind, awakening. But before awakening, you have a spiritual progression in stages of your level of your awareness, because you are doing a self-inquiry and contemplation. You have purified the mind. Because of the purification of the mind, you have a sense of detachment, and that brings the state of realization. Tejasvina vadhitamastu, you have already heard. Intellect, my intellect is ready to receive complete knowledge. I am okay. I am with you. Yes, you are with me. So it's a comprehensive understanding is required. Yeah, comprehensive understanding is required. So let us pick up now the first verse of this text. First verse of this text. Goal is, you know that, remember. And I told you this Panchdasi text is highly respected. You find all those awakened and realized masters, they have gone directly or indirectly. And that is why I thought better to pick up 15 chapters, 5 chapters devoted to existence. What is truth? What is real? It means I have to discern between the real and the unreal. You see, you have to conclude it. I've already discussed about our master Vidyaranya. The two verses talks about, I just give an introduction and then we will go to the four parts. The first two verses talks about what foundation we have already laid. 360-degree understanding, four connections, Mangala Charan, four. Every master has to teach. So there is a word, so that you should be very clear about it. So in these two verses, there comes a uh, phrase which literally translates as serving the guru. You have to serve the teacher. What idea you have in your mind? Serving the teacher. Serving the teacher means that I align, as a seeker, I align my thoughts and actions with the teacher's vision and guidance. That is the meaning of serving the teacher. Obviously, if we are living a personal, professional, and family life, we have to contribute. So, in earlier days, we have to contribute something to the monastery so that the monastery exists. And here, in a professional way, to the teacher. So, serving the teacher, or you serve the teacher, start with the physical, touching the feet, saying namaste, moving with the humility. That is to keep aside my ego, keep aside my objective knowledge. That is another meaning of serving the teacher. So don't take it literally, serving the teacher. Understand. We need to have only understanding. Purifying the mind. Serving the teacher also means that you purify the mind. I made it very clear that I have to get rid of my ego, preferences, and attachment. I'm very attached in listening to the lesson. How it can work? I don't have even in 1 hour to pay total attention. How it will work? Dropping personal identity. That is another way to understand it. So I drop my personal identity. I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm here, I'm this, and I'm that. No, that is what the false self is. So the very beginning, the master says, I have to live into that awareness where I have dropped my personal identity, and then I create an identity that I am a seeker, intellect in the mental level. What is going to happen? It will empty your mind. How come? Think of it. I'm leaving on you. I'm a seeker only. I'm not a father. I'm not a mother. I'm not wife, son, daughter. I'm not so-called professional. I have to live into that state of awareness. That is the meaning of dropping your identity. You look at it, how much awareness we require in order to reach to that state. The result is the humility. Oh, what I was I explaining the humility and sincerity in all these steps? Answer is yes. Answer is yes. So you have left your personal identity. What will happen? Whatever the teacher is teaching you, it will be received 100%. In modern psychology, we talk about active listening, but this is little deeper than that because you have prepared your mind. Hmm? So you see that I gave you just brief. Namah Shri Shankara Nanda, first part. Guru Pad Ambu Janmani Savilas Mahamoha Graha Grasik Karmani. All the four parts of the verse. He is so beautiful. That is why I want to recite this mantra, and I will translate that. Now you have to pay attention and instantly become aware. Then see what happens. He says, salutations to revered Shankaranand. So this master is Vidyaranya. So he is offering his respect, his adoration to his master. That is another teaching. So salutations to the revered Shankarananda, whose lotus feet gave birth to the Guru. Guru, Guru, moving from ignorance to wisdom. With great delight, what is the delight of a teacher? How the teacher enjoys, how the teacher wants to remain happy. Second, second line is so beautiful. With a great delight, his sole action, his teacher's sole action is to devour the crocodile of immense delusion. See the metaphor. Crocodile of immense delusion. How the crocodile catches its prey. Do you know that? Have you seen on Discovery Channel? It catches the deer and then it starts moving 360 degrees until the prey dies. So I have to, I have to make the delusion die its own death. Metaphor. So I'm very well prepared. I will listen to it. You speak so good. So then I forget it. Then I remain in delusion. So here the master is saying crocodile of delusion every day. You have to recognize it. Poetic beauty, and the message is clear. I may claim I am free from the delusion. Really? Crocodile is waiting for you. Think, contemplate, and reflect. Salutation to the revered Shankaranand. Shankara is the name of the spiritual teacher, his guru, and saluted in this verse. So I have already made it clear. The word Namaha. Namaha, the word Nama. So I'm picking up a couple of the words. Namaha. Do you remember the true meaning of the Nama? Nama, I am not. What I am, what I have, what I possess do not belong to me. I have that awareness. Why Master is saying that you can achieve simply by listening and learning. So my intellect becomes aware. I gave you in the very beginning an example. You put all the gold are now becoming very costly, and it is still a precious metal. You put 1 pound of gold before your pet. Pet doesn't give any value to it. It will lick it and it will leave it. Or it may throw it into your patio. We give value to it. Nama. Another meaning of the Nama, that I'm aligned with the real self. Why I have to solve this problem? I've just started teaching, passing on this knowledge with the traditional teaching. Where is the significance of the, where is the significance of the crocodile? I made it very clear to you. Crocodile of ignorance. Look at the metaphor. Look at the metaphor. If you see that every time the crocodile wants to catch its prey, like the deer or some other animal, first it puts into the jaws, the delusion holds it. Why don't you understand? I'm busy. How can I attend your session? And then crocodile moves so fast that the entire deer is cut into hundreds of pieces and its fellows. Crocodile of delusion. That is what happens in our daily life because of the delusion. So now delusion also means this delusion. One part of the delusion is detached, is attachment also. It is desire, binding desire also. It is hesitation also. It is I'm fully busy also. The great delight is soul action. Once we are there in a session, our soul action or the goal is to devour the crocodile of immense delusion by examples, by metaphor, by making us understand. Symbolically. And then the crocodile takes the prey into the depth of the water. Delusion can pull an individual deeper into the ignorance and hinder the progress towards enlightenment. So, how the teacher can devour that crocodile of delusion? By teaching, you listen, by contemplation, helping you, inspiring you to contemplate. Understand this. First verse. So in the first verse, he says the so only goal of a teacher is to remove the ignorance. So here the ignorance is used rather in a very, very metaphorically, crocodile of delusion. Another way to understand that, just become aware throughout the day. One way is to spend 15 minutes every day before retiring to bed, and how many times, what are those events and incidents where I did not express my anxiety outside, but I had something, my heart constricted. I had a sense of duality and a conflict in me. Find out. That is one way to understand. Another way, the moment you are into anxiety, can you drop it? There and then, by understanding. Are you in pain? Can you remove the suffering part from the pain? The mind gives the value. That is another way to understand the first verse. It takes only a couple of hours, but we are going slowly. We are going fast, but in other verses, we will go little slowly. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. We will follow. We will follow the verse from the other master. Yadi deham prathak kratyah didi vishamyatisthasi. If I separate the body, allow the mind to rest on peace and happiness here and now, if I continue, I reach to the highest state. Four parts. Let us follow the same so-called the steps. They are not the steps, but for the sake of understanding in the beginning. Until we become the higher seeker, then it is just a flow of the knowledge, being comfortable. So you already have a memory, knowledge. Oh, you always say, look at the neck joint. Your mind goes freely there. You experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And then you recognize. What do you recognize? Oh, the teacher is saying not to look at the world, look at the body. Is it withdrawing, changing the direction of the mind? Yes, I change the direction instantly, and I see there is a comfort sensation and steadiness. Do you see that? This is a reflection. So your intellect reveals this knowledge. A teacher should not talk, even a teacher should talk about it. So now you have a clear understanding. The teacher should, oh, what teacher has discussed, now I can reveal the knowledge with it. So what is most important is to change the direction of the mind. Looking at the shoulder joints, just awareness. Awareness, it is not a practice. So that steadiness of the mind helps you to hold on to the shoulder joint. I gave an example. And oh, yes. Oh, that is why I experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. But if your mind is full of distraction, it's a wandering mind, how can your mind hold on to the shoulder joint? So why it is not a practice? Because you have already achieved the steadiness of the mind. Are you getting it? We have already prepared a foundation, and the foundation, and we continue with that foundation. Oh, that seems to be interesting. The entire body awareness, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So you have a naturally steady mind. Mind says, no, I want to know deeper than what lies deep within. I see the darkness, I see the emptiness, I see the space. Oh, that seems to be pretty interesting. We're just understanding. What is understanding? Knowledge. What is knowledge? Is awareness. What we are, for the sake of saying I'm doing, we are not doing anything. Oh, I'm just aware of that space and the blankness. No, 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 but in that space I see straight thoughts, unwanted and desirable thoughts, feeling, emotions come and go. Oh, I have to discern. What is the 2 points of discernment? One is these thought, feeling, and emotions. One part. Second part is the knower. Or simply say one part is the space that does not change, and the other part is the birds flying in the sky. Many birds, one space. Birds fly in the sky, disappear. One thought appears in the sky, the space of the mind. You are simply watching, aware of it. You are not attached to it. You are not deluded by it. The moment you are deluded, crocodile of delusion. Oh, so I see these thought comes, stays, dissolves, disappears. I see in the interval there is no thought. What is that interval? It is nothing but the space. space, something that is unchanging here. Thought, feeling, and emotions are changing. They aren't doing anything. Another subtle point. The mind says, I'm lost. Delusion. You recognize it. The space is not going anywhere. One way to understand knower is not going anywhere. The knower knows that you are lost somewhere. That is good. That is also good. Means awareness remains intact. The space remains intact. It is not changing. Thoughts, feeling, emotions. In that state, look at the physical body. So when we talk of the body, normally we talk of the physical body, the subtle body, and the causal body that you already understand. So we are talking of the physical body at this moment. Physical body, perception, sensation. The perception is of the shape and the size of the body with sensations. The sensation and the image of the body also appears in the space. That knower is different and separate from this physical body. I believe you're getting it. You have a TV lying in your house. It is different from your living room. You're asking that living room is like a space? Yes. But inside the living room, there is a TV. So inside that space of which we are aware, we have this physical body. Normally, we think mind is inside the physical body. Wrong. Physical body is inside the mind so that it becomes aware of the physical body. If it is opposite, then there is a problem. Wrong notion. We are removing also the wrong. The moment you remove the wrong notion, you see as this physical body and the space or the knower. The knower is the same before the beginning and now. And the known is the physical body. Beauty is that you simply reflect and say in your mind that results into calmness and the poise. Yadi deham prathak kratyah. If body, if I recognize, that is the right phrase. If I recognize, if I'm aware that the body is separate, physical body, then what happens to mind will act only through the body. You see, I'm speaking, I'm watching you. Oh, so if the body is separate, then the mind has nothing to work except remain aware of the unwanted, undesirable thought, feeling, and emotions. And then we already know the space and these undesirable. Little complex, but not so complex that we cannot understand. So either directly the knower of the body is different from the body, knower of the thoughts, feeling, and emotions are different from the knower. I know you. For example, I know Stephen, so I'm not Stephen. I know the body, I'm not the body. I know the thought, I'm not the thought. I know the feeling, I'm not the feeling. I am, I know the emotions, I'm not the emotion. Only the intellect recognizes. Only the intellect, which is very clear, humble, receptive, sincere, steady, can instantly recognize I'm not the body and I'm not the thought, feeling, and emotions. Yadi deham prathak kratyah. So what happens? Now I recognize that knower is always resting because it is only the knower. It does not act. That is what the master is saying. The mind, allow the mind to rest or recognize the mind is resting. Result, peace and happiness here and now. And if we follow the journey with the knowledge and understanding and practice, so called, in the beginning, if we are not a highest level of a seeker, we bandha mukto bhavishyasi, we become free from the bondage. Mm. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Oh, shanti. Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, awareness. Your mind on the left hand, awareness. Lift your Buddha palm, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. I'll share our experiences. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. It was today was a good reminder that everything starts with fundamentals and that there's a systematic approach to this journey. And throughout the lesson, um, a lot of contemplating and reflecting was going on, and it continued. It came with peace. It came with happiness. It came with no judgment, and every thought along the way just brought me back to those principles of the principles, starting with the teacher, the faith, and then continuing on. And then I really liked the crocodile. Well, I know that I'm not supposed to have likes and dislikes, but I was moved by the crocodile of delusion, and will continue to contemplate that. As we've talked before, I always like to break things down into smaller parts, and that metaphor plays into the way that I think of the crocodile delusion and breaking it into smaller pieces and so on. And then as you went on, I started thinking, and then you said it, which I always find to be bizarre. That I'm not the thought, I'm not the emotions, I'm not the body, but what I am is peace, and what I am is happiness. And then it's like go back to the beginning and go to get to that. It starts with the fundamentals and so on and so forth. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Beautiful summary. Beautiful summary. You see that it is always good to be 100% attentive in a session so that you can simultaneously contemplate and reflect. Crocodile of delusion. My God, how he kills the prey. Oh, that is why the delusion is killing me all the time. That is why I have anxiety, duality, conflict. Oh, in my family, oh, I have to get rid of it. So that sort of awareness pops up in the mind. And then what happens? You dissolve your ego. Oh, leave aside. Let me first have the peace and harmony. You plead your relations. Let me have peace and harmony. So at least you are still moving into peace and harmony. If other is not ready, so let them be. What you can do, but you have changed. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Beautiful. Thank you, Stephen. How are you, David and Jerry?
Sir, thank you. Very much enjoyed the lesson today. I think you started out by saying the mind gives importance to things, and so going into the meditation, I was looking at the crocodile, and I wasn't looking at the crocodile. I was looking at the deer, and realized the deer was giving importance to drinking the water. But had the deer had awareness, it wouldn't have gone near the water because the awareness would have told them there was a crocodile there. So that so consequently, I had just a really beautiful, deep meditation.
Beautiful, beautiful. You have another explanation of this metaphor. We become the deer when we are seeking pleasure from the world outside. And then we are looking for a water. And in seeking pleasure, we lose our awareness. Why we lose awareness? Pleasure is not the property of anything in the world outside. But I'm seeking the pleasure. So that we forget that. And forgotten means lack of awareness. And then the crocodile has to take its own course. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
I'm good, thank you. My takeaway was noticing the humility in the mind.
Yes.
The mind has become very humble and knowing that it doesn't know anything. And so therefore it's not attached to anything, it doesn't expect anything. And it asks the intellect, how do I understand? How do I contribute? How do I, add to
Beautiful.
the situation?
Beautiful. Yet, what happens when we understand it? Whether you understand the Mangala Charan 100%, you understand the four connections, you have that sense of what is humility? Do I know my real self? No, I don't know it. One aspect. Do I know real self? Yes, I know. The ego brings millions of the thoughts and it creates a thought image. We cover ourselves with the thought image. Now see this humility that I don't know anything. My mind is clear, empty. Let this knowledge be received with that receptivity, with that kindness. So everyone understands differently. That is another way to understand it beautifully. Beautiful. Thank you, Jerry. How are you, Brandy?
I'm fine. Thank you for the lesson. My nugget from the lesson was that we're not even the peace and happiness. And so I was kind of thinking about that. And then you framed it nicely during the meditation when you said that peace and happiness is the result of the mind resting. And even like the knower is beyond that. So
Yeah.
I had a nice, deep experience with that today.
Yes. That is another pointed awareness you had. Everyone is doing good. You see that when you said that peace and happiness, that knower is the peace and happiness. Anything that is changing, what is changing? Body, mind, intellect, thought, that they all are changing, cannot be the peace and happiness. So you got that discernment, and that is what you were aware, and it resulted into peace and happiness. So we are sharing our experiences so that you can also look others how they are reflecting on it, because that will help a great deal. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you for the session. My meditation was very peaceful and quiet. I was observing the body, mind, and thoughts, seeing that the observer is non-active, non-changing, seeing that emptiness and space. And at the same time, I was inquiring into myself, where my knowledge is incomplete. What is that ignorance that still exists at a not so obvious level, that still has power to block that full awareness and to restrict my understanding. So that was kind of a
Yes,
self-inquiry.
that's a beautiful. Keep that self inquiry, and our master is going to guide us to remove all that ignorance layer by layer. After the second verse from this teacher, then we have 6 or 7 verses. He proves without any cult, belief, religion, dogma, faith. He says, do you analyze? Do you reach to that conclusion that you are the real self? In 6 or 7 verses to go. Yes, keep that moment of self inquiry all the time. How are you, Weber?
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm good. It's coming to the belief that no ignorance can change my real nature, the nature of the consciousness. So only it's my attachment. Because of that, it hides that nature. And doing the practice and learning this, knowledge, it comes like it drops that in ignorance in me. So it finds its calm
Yes,
and
beautiful. Our ignorance is like dust on the mirror. Nothing happens to the mirror. You simply use the water and wipe, and you wipe it out. The mirror returns to the same state. In a language, mirror is already into the same state, even before the dusting and after the dusting. So it is all about intellectual understanding and raising your awareness, and that helps you to live into that awareness or that real self. Continue. Beautiful. How are you, Sam?
Good. Good lesson to contemplate on. Feeling relaxed and calm.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Continue to contemplate and reflect. How are you, Ashok?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Sir, I am good and fine, peaceful.
Good and fine, peaceful.
Thank
Good.
you so much.
How are you, Terry?
If if the knower, the knower, please wait. If the knower,
Nowhere.
knows our experiences, then our experiences are not
The knower.
knower. So we do not want to focus on our experiences.
That's another beautiful way to contemplate. You see that we are bringing all the principles of Eastern wisdom together. I am the knower of what is known. Known are constantly changing.
Uh-huh.
So when I identify with what is known, that identification causes the attachment, delusion, and but the knower is still there. The knower, what happens to the knower? Now knower is hiding behind my delusion, hiding behind my attachment, hiding behind my attachment and the delusion. So that is what the David says. The deer is not aware. So those deers who are aware, they can not fall prey to the crocodile. But those who are not aware, why? Because there is a craving. What is a craving? It is because of survival of the body. Why it is survival of the body? Because I am attached to the body. Very good. That is all for today. Beautiful. Thank you very much. We'll meet.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.